Hi everyone, Crista Cowan here with another episode of The Barefoot Genealogist. Today we are talking about AncestryDNA. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the new surname and location filters. We'll start with a little bit of a review about some of the filters that have already existed. A couple of them got a new look, and so we'll just review those. And then we'll show you the new filters and some tips and tricks for how to use those. Joining me today is Anna Swayne. Anna, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Crista.
We're going to see if Anna can slide right up here by the computer.
Yes.
And then we're going to go ahead and just dive in. We're going to do a lot of live screen sharing today. But most importantly, what we're going to do is just walk you through how I use them. If you have tips and tricks for how you use some of these filters that we don't cover today, I invite you to go over to our YouTube channel once this video goes live later today there, and share those tips and tricks in the comments. That will be fantastic. So, Anna, first let's talk about the sort view. That has been available all along, but some people aren't aware of exactly what it is or how they might use it. So here are my mother's DNA results. Where am I going to find those sort features?
So the sort features you'll find by relationship or date on the right-hand side, just below the map of your ethnicity and the search matches feature. And relationship, of course, divides it up into cousins. So as you can see here displayed, third cousins are displayed, fourth cousins are displayed, and so forth. And that's how I always leave my filter set as. But as you're getting more and more matches, sometimes it's helpful to then sort by date. And that date will then pull the last 7 days, 14 days, and so forth.
So why exactly would somebody want to sort by date? What does that do?
That just pulls the latest matches you have.
So the newer ones are at the top of the list.
Yep, the newer ones are at the top of the list.
Okay.
And as you know, you get lots of matches every week.
Okay.
So it's easy to miss. So date is a nice catch-all.
Okay, so I can sort by relationship or by date just to see those matches in kind of a different view. That's fantastic. Now, we had some filters available. Again, kind of all along we had those filters available, but those filters have a new look to them. Can we take a look at that?
Yes. I love this new look. It's very clean and it's all right there for you. You see the filters by hints, which pulls all those people that we've identified in your tree and in their tree.
So if I click on hints, what it does is it makes this little filter darker, and then what am I seeing here in my list?
All those who share that we've identified a possible common ancestor by the leaf being displayed right after the amount of people.
Okay,
in that
so I just want to kind of clarify a point here, because we get this question a lot, and we've talked about it before, but the people show up on your list here as cousin matches based solely on DNA. And so the matches then is a secondary, or the shared ancestor hint is a secondary process that we run if you both have a tree and if you've attached your DNA results to that tree. So whether they have a hint or not, whether they have a tree or not, they're going to show up on your list because of shared DNA. But when you click this hint, it's going to filter down to people who have a tree, who've attached their results to that tree, and where Ancestry.com can see that you have a common ancestor in your tree, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's just take a look at what that looks like, because there's a little bit of a new look to that as well. And some of you may have just noticed what I did. I don't like reloading this matches page over and over again. I'm very impatient and don't like to wait for web pages to load. And so one of the features just of a basic web browser that I use a lot is I will right-click on a link and then open that in a new tab. What that does is it just opens it up right up here. I can do what I want with this, and then when I can close it and go right back to my results list without having to wait for that web page to load. So that's what I did there. So here I'm looking at this particular match of mine, and we have a shared ancestor hint. And now we've made a little change to this as well. Can you tell me about this, Anna?
Yeah, what you can do now is you can hide or show the details just by clicking on that little hide or show details.
So it's a matter of just collapsing it to give some more room on the page.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you can immediately go down into their tree and look at other shared surnames.
Okay. And so all of this stuff on this page is still the same. We still have the shared surnames list here. One of the points of clarification, again, that I just want to make, because I see a lot of questions about this, when we provide these shared surnames and the shared birth locations, we're only looking at the person's ancestors, right? We're not looking at everybody in their tree, just the parents and the grandparents and the great-grandparents back. Is it 10 generations?
10 generations, yep, exactly.
Okay. So that's important, because this means that if you share a surname, it is somebody you descend from directly. It's not some aunt or some cousin of something. And that, I think there's a little bit of confusion around that for some of you, and so I just wanted to clear that up. So that is let's go back to my search page here. That is the hints filter. Now, if I want to turn that filter off, we've got a new feature here to do that as well. Just a matter of just Xing out of it, and it returns you to your complete list of search results. So then tell me about the second filter, Anna.
So the second filter, just like before, it's the new. So these are ones, if you click on it, these are ones you have not viewed yet, or ones you have viewed but have replaced the blue dot because you want to go back to. I don't know about you. Sometimes I get into one and I'm like, wait, I need to spend a little bit more time, so I'll put the blue dot back on so that I'll review it again. And that again, you can search by relationship.
Okay, so I can filter down to just my new matches, which essentially means people I haven't viewed yet. But then you talked about putting the blue dot back, and I do that here on this page, right?
Correct. It's just going to be right next to their profile. Yep, right there. You click on that, and then it's going to mark it as not viewed, so you can refer back to it.
So I can reset any of those, and I love what you said. If I need more time, because sometimes you start looking at these and you think, "Wow, it's dinner time. Yeah. I don't want to keep messing with this." Okay, then talk to me about this third filter. Again, it's a filter we've always had, but we've just made it a little bit more visible for people. What does this do?
So the starred filter is one that you've proactively looked at and have starred. Maybe it's one you've already seen a connection or one of interest, or whatever that means to you. You've starred yourself. Now you can filter by all of those, and you can put the star on the same spot, or you can take it off. And that's just basically saying this is a favorite, and it's putting it into a whole new section for you to filter by.
So there's really no rules around what you star, what you don't star. That's just something that people can use as kind of a bookmark system almost.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That's a great way.
Excellent. Okay, so then over the course of the last week or two, we've introduced some new filters, and I'm excited about these. But why don't you talk us through what those are, where we find them, how they work.
Okay, so this is very exciting. I've had a lot of fun. We've gotten great response. The new filters are found on the right-hand side, just where the old filters were. And you can click on search matches, and it's going to open up search criteria for you.
So this has become kind of like a slider bar here. So I just click on either filters or search matches, and it just opens and closes that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you have two options. You can search by surname, or you can search by location, or both. And this is exciting because, as you know, we want to see what surnames we're matching with genetically. So it's going to search all of your DNA matches and say, okay, all your DNA matches have this surname in common, and it'll list that for you. Okay,
now, of course, it only works if people have attached a tree to their DNA results, and if they have a tree and if they've attached it. What about those trees that are private or locked? Is it searching those as well?
It is searching those as well. Those will still be displayed in your match list.
So it'll tell me they have that surname in their tree. I just won't be able to view the tree.
Exactly.
Okay, yep. Excellent. So let's actually just do a couple of examples here, maybe. So my mother, this is my mother's DNA results, and she has a lot of deep south roots, and so I can type in one of the surnames on her tree. And I actually went through this process where I just worked my way through her third great grandparents and typed in each of their last names just to see what came up. Like I didn't even look at them. I didn't even go in and look at the matches. You can see a lot of them still have blue dots. Mostly I just wanted to start to get a feel for who's showing up as, like, what surname or what usernames are showing up as matches on particular branches of her family over and over again. So if I type in this surname, now here I have this list of possible cousins. But this list is still really long, right? So what can I do then to filter that even more?
That's a perfect question. You can go up and you can search, you can refine it a little bit more by then typing in location. So if you know where your Lawrences are, perfect, Virginia. And yeah, keep it broad. You don't have to get, very specific unless, again, it pulls a ton of Lawrences again, and then you can get more specific maybe by county or whatever.
Okay, so now I'm looking for Lawrences in Virginia specifically, and it's looking for both of these things together, right? Not just any instance of Lawrence and any instance of Virginia. It's specifically Lawrences in Virginia, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and so now I have a more filtered, a more controlled list of cousin matches that I can work my way through. And then you said I can also refine this even further just by putting in a county name. Of course, that presumes I remember the county in Virginia where my family is from. Now, talk to me a little bit about this includes similar surnames feature checkbox here.
This is great because you click on that and it's going to include anything that's maybe similar to Lawrence. Maybe the spelling's a little bit different, or maybe it's, part of a surname. It's going to include anything, so you're not limited to just your current spelling.
Okay, excellent. Now, and I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't prep you for, so I hope it doesn't throw you too much. But one of the things that I've seen when I pull up my matches is that sometimes people will have like asterisks in front of the surnames because, and I'm assuming it's because these are people who've wanted somehow in their large tree to mark the people who are their direct ancestors. And so they'll put a character in that field. I've seen some where they don't know the woman's maiden name, and so they'll put her husband's surname maybe in parentheses in the surname field. And it feels to me a little bit like that's throwing off my search results. How do those characters work?
Those characters can, in fact, throw it off.
Okay.
Because it's influencing this what the computer's trying to pull from. What they're kind of going in and they're grabbing any kind of Lawrences. But if you have any special characters before that, it'll throw it off and it won't catch it.
Okay.
It won't catch that spelling. I've seen both where it comes through, so that might be certain characters throwing off certain things.
But we're not sure yet.
We're not, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, hands down, it's just safer just to take those out, and you'll have better.
Okay. And I know, like on the Ancestry.com, like the main search engine of Ancestry.com outside of DNA, I know it can cause problems as well. And so the advice then is to people to clean up your surname fields, make sure there's no special characters. I understand why people have done it traditionally, but we're moving into an era of research where that can cause some problems with the computers.
Yep.
So, okay, excellent. So then to reset these filters again, I just click these little X's and that will clear those. And then it actually doesn't clear them. I have to actually either type something new in or refresh my list. Click cancel to refresh my list.
Yes.
So here I X them if I want to clear the filter. And on the search function, I click cancel to clear that field. Okay.
Perfect. And one thing I like about this search feature is you can search by surname or location or both.
So I can just come in here and I can type in, for example, Hawkins County, Tennessee, and people may notice as I start typing, it's similar to Ancestry.com search where it gives me a type ahead list, and that's important. How people enter locations in their tree makes a difference too.
Exactly. So maybe you want to start out kind of broad and then get more specific. But this is nice too because, some people will ask, well, what is this really going to do to help me refine my research? And as we know, surnames change a lot, but the DNA is there. We're searching against people that we actually match with genetically. And so location is a great tool to kind of weed out some of our other matches and get more refined.
And that location feature, for example, I have a lot of family, again, from the Deep South back into the early 1700s, and some of them now may have surnames that are spelled very differently, even though they started out the same, but the location is going to be the same.
Exactly. And where the surname feature sometimes is not a catch-all. So location's a great tool.
Okay, excellent. And then again, whether I'm going from surname to location or location to surname, I can just filter that list down even further to be really specific or a smaller subset of matches.
So great.
It is. It's fun, isn't it? Okay. Well, let's make sure we covered everything. Today's presentation was really brief, but we wanted to be very specific and to the point about these filters. I've just reviewed let's just review a couple of the tips and tricks that we talked about. When you're looking at your list of matches and you want to look at a specific match, for me anyway, I find that right-clicking that and opening it in a new tab is the easiest way to do that, just so that I don't have to keep waiting for that page of matches to reload or remember what filter I was using or whatever. As a kind of a first step, if you haven't had a chance to play with these yet, go ahead and search for your own surnames. For example, when I looked at my mother's matches, I just did a quick search for every one of the surnames amongst her third great-grandparents, just kind of went down that line in my pedigree chart, and I didn't look at every match. What I was doing was just seeing who came up over and over again so that I could start to get a feel for where I might be related to some of these people. And then we didn't talk about this, but this is something that I'm just starting to play around with these new filters. As I started looking at some of my matches, I realized that some of them had surnames that I saw in their tree over and over again that I don't have in my tree. And so now all of a sudden I'm thinking, wait, if they all have a surname in common, maybe that's a hole in my tree that I can fill in, which is a really cool thing to do that's one of the points of DNA is to grow your tree.
I like that idea a lot.
So, I'll keep playing around with that, and maybe I'll let some of you know how that goes. And then just this final tip or word of caution is that the surnames and the locations in your tree, you need to just make sure that those fields are clean, that there's not a lot of characters. We don't want to mess up the search function for yourself or for anybody else with those surnames. And then with locations, the more research you can do to be more specific, the more success you're going to have, but also make sure that they're entered or formatted correctly genealogically, which is smallest jurisdiction to largest jurisdiction. Use the drop-down menu provided in Ancestry.com where possible. I know some of those are not the historical location, and so you might have to make some changes there, but using that drop-down feature where possible is going to make sure that those are formatted most accurately so that those locations can be searchable again by yourself and by anybody else that matches you. One of the things that I am coming to love about DNA, and Anna, I don't know if you've had a similar experience, is that I'm getting people who contact me every week who say, I've looked at your tree and here's what I've figured out. So what's happening really is people are doing my research for me.
Right.
Really, it becomes this collaborative effort, really, is the point, where, they're putting some effort into it. I've had people, help me clean up errors in my tree because they've been able to find them and point them out to me. I've been able to do the same for other people. And so DNA just kind of raises that profile of collaboration in genealogy, which I love. It's fantastic. Well, that is all we have planned for you today. I want to thank Anna for joining us. I really always appreciate it when she's here. And we are probably going to talk about DNA again, in 4 or 5 weeks. We'll have some more tips and tricks for you, and maybe Anna could join us again for that.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. I will be, if you're watching this live, I will be available on chat in just a few minutes to answer any questions you might have specifically about DNA. Let's keep that chat on topic today if we can. And then, like I said earlier, once I get this uploaded to YouTube later today, if you have any other tips or tricks for how you're working with those filters, we would love to have you comment on that so that all of us can learn how to use this tool, this amazing tool, even better. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, this is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.